Before we go on with the vowels O and U in the alphabet, we're just going to digress for a second and talk about the film industry. In the film industry, there are lots of really good-looking people whose faces and bodies are insured for millions of dollars. Yet there's a problem. These actors and actresses do extremely dangerous jobs. They jump out of planes, they get blown up. This surely would damage their faces and bodies or put them at a higher risk of doing that. So what's the solution? Of course, stunt doubles. And so it is with the letters E and I. They also have a stunt double that comes in where they cannot be there. And that stunt double is the letter Y. So get your students now underneath the vowel I to write the letter Y. And we're going to look at some words where Y appears. Firstly, there's this word, lazy. Why can't I write it like that? You write it on the board and see what your students say. What we want here is for your students to say, it doesn't look right. That's a great phrase, by the way, because spelling is ultimately visual, and that's the one that we want our students to have in their minds. It doesn't look right. But hang on, you say. Everything that we've learned so far makes it right. The A says its name at the end of the first syllable, so that's falling off the cliff saying A. And the E in the second syllable is also saying its name, E, as it falls off the cliff. So why isn't this right? The answer is that E at the end of a word makes this sound. Want to hear it again? That's right. E is silent at the end of a word, and we're going to go to a chapter that has all of the rules surrounding that. But for now, we can introduce that concept. So when you have an E sound at the end of a word, you cannot use the letter E because it's silent at the end of words, unless, of course, they're one-syllable words like me and he. And that more fundamental principle that every syllable must have a vowel kicks in there. But in other words, when there's an E sound at the end, don't use E. A common coping strategy is actually to use two letters instead. Have you seen this? EY, IE, EE. And this is also where we introduce the KISS principle. Keep it simple, students. You thought I was going to say something else there. No, keep it simple, students. If you can get away with writing one letter, write one letter, not two letters. Again, to cope, a lot of struggling spellers will throw letters at a page and see what sticks. Well, it's our job as teachers of spelling to undo that and to say, if you can get away with one letter, get away with one letter. And our answer here is, well, which letter? If I can't use E and there's an E sound at the end of a word, what letter? The stunt double, Y. And that's why lazy is spelt like that. Now also, Y replaces the letter I, where I cannot be, or if. The I sound in words has come from a Greek root. In Greek, I was expressed as the letter Y, and so that spelling has survived into our words. So when we borrow words from Greek, and there's an I sound, chances are it's the letter Y, like in the word gym. So now we've introduced the concept of Greek roots, and it's very, very important for spelling and morphology. Next we have this word, fly. What do you mean I can't spell it like that? The I is falling off a cliff. It's not E, it's not silent. It's falling off the cliff and it says fly. But it doesn't look right, right? No, it doesn't, because instinctively we know that I cannot be at the end of a word in English. It's what we call an illegal letter. An illegal letter cannot be at the end of a word in English. So I is illegal, and that brings us on to a rule. You may not use the letter I at the end of a word. You must use Y, and that's why fly is spelt the way it is. We'll now look at illegal letters before going on with the next vowels, because it's important to work out what those illegal letters are. Have a think about them. What are the other letters that may not be used at the end of an English word? There are 5. We have I, and if you haven't read ahead, think about them. There's a PDF on introducing the illegal letters lesson. And there you'll get all the answers. What I'd like to do, though, during this illegal letters lesson is get my students to work out the story behind why the exceptions appear. There are exceptions, of course, to every rule. So this is a really good area to talk about exceptions to those rules.